we playing today, Jennifer?
Imperial-assault.
Okay.
It's a Star Trek game.
It's a Star Wars game. What heroes are you going to be, Jennifer?
I'm Jin Odan and Garkhan.
What did they start off with?
My Wookiee has a vibro axe, and he's legendary, which gives him 10 extra health.
And 2 activation tokens.
And 2 activation tokens.
Right.
And Jin, she has a vintage blaster, and she's also legendary.
Right. Legendary is only used when you're playing a 2-hero mission. If you're playing a 3-hero mission, you use your heroic, and then with 4 heroes, you use just normal 1 activation per hero. All right. What are their special abilities?
Well, Jin is quick draw. So at the start of hostile figure's activation, I can interrupt to perform an attack with a pistol targeting that figure. Limits once per round unless I have 2 activation tokens, which I do.
Right.
She is also an opportunist. So after a resolve attack, if a target suffered at least one or more damage, then I can move a space.
Right.
And my Wookiee, he has charge, which I can, for 2 trauma. Is it trauma?
Strain.
2 strain. I can move a number of spaces up to my speed. Then I can perform an attack action with a melee weapon.
Okay.
And he also has rage. So if he gets attacked and he suffers 3 or more damage, then he becomes focused.
Right, and we'll get into what that all means a little later on in the game.
Darth Vader's biting me.
Okay, so this is the introduction campaign to Imperial-Assault. It's actually like the second one. There's a real basic one, a learn to play one. But this is the introduction to the campaign mode of the game. So it's called Aftermath, and at the beginning of the campaign, the Imperial player, which I am, is supposed to read the mission briefing to the heroes. I'm also supposed to tell the heroes what any notable rooms are. Okay, so this one here is the atrium, and this guy here is the storage room. Okay, so here's the mission briefing. Arriving at the outpost, you immediately open fire upon the troops standing guard. You suspect they knew you were coming and that you're likely walking into an ambush. All the same, with the signal continuing to broadcast, there just isn't time for a more subtle approach. A rebel figure can attack a terminal, okay, which are these guys here. They have a health of 4, and they have 1 block in defense. And then if a Imperial soldier was standing next to him, we'd apply 1 more defense. So, like, this one is adjacent to it. It would have +2 block symbols on it when being attacked instead of just 1. The door is locked. There's only one here. It's this guy here. And the mission ends when the terminals are destroyed by the rebels at the end of round 6, or when all heroes are wounded. So basically, Jen wants to destroy all the terminals. I want to wound both of her characters. Okay, which is a little tough because her characters are a little souped up because of that legendary card.
Why do you want to injure me, Barry?
Jin has a health of 20. Now Wookiee's got, what, 24?
Yeah, Garkhan.
Okay, so the rebels start.
He's Chewbacca's cousin.
That's what I've been saying. Alright, so Jen starts. The rebels start. Jen chooses which hero she wants to activate first. And then she'll choose 2 actions. She could either move, attack, interact, rest, or do her special ability, which is like an arrow-y symbol. So what you gonna do, Jennifer?
I'm gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, and why? How did you know you could move that much?
Because my speed is 5.
Right, and you can move orthogonally or diagonally as long as there's no terrain interrupting you, such as walls, doors, block terrain, stuff like that.
So I want to interact with the terminal by killing it.
Okay, so
I need 2 green die.
2 green dice. Okay, so Jen is shooting at it with her gun there. Okay, and she has 4 hits. Okay, which are indicated by these damage symbols. These numbers are for range, but she's standing right next to it. She really doesn't need it. Now, since the terminal is adjacent to an Imperial figure, it has 2 block instead of 1. So she technically only gave it 2 damage.
I don't really like you.
I know. So we'll put the 2 damage markers on the terminal. So that was her 2 actions. For her, she would flip over the token to indicate that she spent the activation.
Yes, but I can use my opportunist ability.
What's that?
If I chose to, since I resolved an attack and the target suffered 1 or more damage.
Right.
I can move 1 space.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
But I don't know that I want to.
You going to stay here?
Yeah, I guess I'll just
You're not going to back out?
Well, 1,
Well,
so I'm
you
still
could go
surrounded. Still surrounded by the same amount and the same figures.
It's true. Okay, so now it's the Imperial players. The Imperial players work a little differently. As you can see here, the Stormtrooper has 3 units. Okay, for this deployment card. So I would, if I were to choose the Stormtroopers, I would move each one individually and do their actions individually, and then go to the next one until all 3 units are done. The other 2 guys here, the Probe droid and the Imperial officer, only have 1 unit on the board.
What kind of droid?
Probe.
Oh.
The Probe droid is mobile, which means he ignores basically all terrain, and moving through opponents' spaces doesn't cause them an extra point of movement like it normally would.
He's octopus.
And the terrain doesn't affect his line of sight. Okay, the block terrain. Walls still do, but... Alright, so... I think I'm going to activate the Stormtroopers here. I'm going to go into the Wookiee. Alright, so this guy here is in the blue space, which is difficult terrain. It'll cost him 2 points of movement to move out of that. So, 1, 2. Their speed is 4. So he's going to go 3. And then he's going to try to attack the Wookiee. Okay, so now I would draw an imaginary line to see if I have
line of sight.
Line of sight. Okay, so 1 point from the space he's in, and 2 points in the space that the opponent's in. He does. Now I would attack the Wookiee with a blue and green die.
I will defend with a black die.
And Jen will defend with a black die. And we roll these dice simultaneously because there could be certain effects that...
Or at the same time. Even.
Yes. Okay, so I got...
And I block 2.
I got the range, which is 6. He only needed 3. There's 2 hits. She blocked 2 of the hits. I do have a surge symbol, and the Stormtroopers can either have +1 damage or +1 accuracy. Their special ability is while attacking adjacent to other friendly troopers, you may reroll 1 attack die. So, I think I'm going to do that. It's kind of risky. I'm going to reroll this one. Alright, and it's basically the same result. Just got less range. So the Wookiee takes 1 damage because I spent this string symbol on the +1 damage. Okay, so now the first one's done. His activation. I'll move on to the second one. I'm going to move him a little bit closer. Then I'm going to attack the Wookiee. So we reroll. Alright, so Jen blocked 1. He has 3 hits. I'm not going to use his special ability. I'm going to keep that. So the Wookiee took 2 more hits. Okay. He spent 1 movement. And he's going to back up. Spending 2 more movements. This guy here is just going to turn around. Attack her. Okay. Does she have a black or...
White.
Okay. So
Jen got nothing.
Jen got nothing. I'm going to use the surge, and then Jen will take 2 points of damage on her. Again, he had the range. He had 6. He's standing right next to her, though. Okay, so that's the end of the Stormtrooper. It goes back to Jen, and Jen will activate the Wookiee.
That's what you think, right?
Yeah.
Now, my Wookiee can only move 4.
Correct.
3.
Right.
I'm gonna attack that one.
Okay, so the Stormtrooper has a black defense.
I get a red and a yellow.
Okay, a red and a yellow. And the Wookiee is melee, so he has to be adjacent to the figure that he's going to attack. Okay, so she gets 3 damage and a surge, but this symbol cancels out on the surge. Yes, I know what you're going for. So, 3 damage. You said this one? Mm-hmm. Now, the Stormtroopers only have a health of 3. He gets killed. He gets removed from the board. I could later on deploy him if I get enough points to do that. Redeploy him. You know, there has to be at least one of that unit, or that type of unit, on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, so you still got some movement left.
I have 1, so I'll go here.
Okay, so that is the end of the Wookiee turn. Okay, I think I'm going to go with the droid. Okay, I'm going to move the droid. He's got a speed of 3 and a health of 5. Now, he has a special ability where at the end of his round, you know, I may roll 1 red die, and then each adjacent figure and objects to him suffers 1 damage equal to the number of results from the die that equal damage. Then he's defeated, gets taken off the board. I don't want to use that right now, but
no.
I am going to attack the Wookiee.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Yes. So he's a black die.
He's not a black guy, he's a Wookiee.
He's a black die. You ready? He got a blue die too. The droid has a ranged attack with 2 yellow and a blue die. Okay, so he's got 2 surge, 3 surge. Alright, so his surge abilities are +1 damage, +1 recover, but he doesn't have 2 of damage, but he doesn't have any damage, and +1 pierce. Now, since I didn't actually damage her, there's no reason to pierce her. Pierce would block out 1 block effect. It would cancel out 1 block effect. So I'm just going to use the 1 here and give her 1 point of damage.
Thanks, you're a sweetheart.
You're welcome. So that was his first action. Imperial players cannot attack twice, whereas, most Imperial player cards cannot attack twice, whereas the Rebels can. So for his second movement, because it's not really a gender, it's a droid. I'm gonna move him.
Are you saying that right? So I can attack you twice?
Right, but I can attack in most cases. There's a few cards that allow you to do that, but in most cases, the Imperial players can also not rest and interact with crates.
Right. You don't need no stinking crates.
Yeah. So, second action, he's going to move. So he's going to go 1. He's going to squeeze by here 2, and 3. I'll go here 3. Okay, Janet, it's your turn.
Why are you running away?
Because you like to destroy him right off.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna do something.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna destroy that box.
We're gonna use Jen?
Yeah.
And then flip her token. Alright. So she's gonna attack the box.
Can I have 2 green, please?
2 green. Okay. Now remember, since there is no Imperial player around it, it only has 1 block instead of 2. So Jen only hits it one more time. She does have a surge. Do you have any surge abilities?
Yeah, I can give it another damage.
Is that what you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
So Jen destroys the first one. Okay, that was your first action. What would you like to do with your second action?
I'm gonna interact with the crate.
Okay, so to interact with the crate, she would take the crate and put it on her player board there. And then at the end of the game, at the end of the mission, she would get 50 credits for each crate on her player board. And then she'll draw one of these supply cards, and they could be different things. It could be one-time shots, it could be weapons, it could be all credits, it could be all sorts of things. So what one did you get?
I got an emergency med pack. So I can discard this card after I rest, and then myself or an adjacent friendly figure recovers 5 damage.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's the end of her activation. Okay, I'm going to activate my last dude here. I'm just going to attack Jen from where he is. Okay, so I roll a yellow and a blue die. And what is Jen's a white die again?
Yeah, she's a white guy.
Why are you so racial today? Black guy, white guy. Okay, so the officer has 3 hits. Jen has 1 block. This would cancel out a surge. I didn't roll any surges, so it doesn't really affect anything. So she would take 2 hits.
I don't want them, thank you.
Nah. So
I don't want them, thank you.
I said, eh. Okay, so he's got 1 more action. What's his speed? His speed's 4. You know what? He's just gonna move on. Just because I feel like if I didn't, it would be a waste of an action.
Okay.
So Jen will Chewie's cousin will go, and then we'll finish out the round.
Oh. Nobody has damage, huh?
Well, you
5.
killed 1 of the stormtroopers.
Yeah. I feel like I should destroy something before I go in. How many? There's 2 more things I got.
Yes.
Huh.
Now Jen only has 6 rounds to do this. Yeah, to destroy all 3 terminals. Or I win.
Yeah, you do. Boomy. 1.
Here's
I'm
the
gonna attack.
droid. Alright, so black die. What is he? A red and yellow.
You don't need to defend.
I do. Okay, so he blocked 1. She has 3 damage. I blocked 1. She has 2 surges, and I don't want to know what she's going to do with him. The Wookiee's kind of like a tank.
Well, I can pierce and I can cleave 1 damage.
Right, and you can also spend 1 to recover health.
I could.
Alright, so you're going to pierce and cleave?
Yeah, well, that'll give him 1 damage.
Right, cleave will allow her to give 1 damage to any figure that she could attack in range. So she's going to spend 1 surge symbol and cleave this guy. And then I'm assuming you're going to use the pierce to block out this.
Yeah, Barry, you would assume correctly.
Alright, so the droid takes 3 damage. He only has 5 health. So he's like, 2 shy of getting killed.
You know what the real bummer is?
You can still move if you want.
I know. The bummer is that I moved to attack him. I can't just attack him. Why don't you put those on for him on the card?
Well, because then we could.
Just for him, because it's not like the Stormtrooper where there's 3 different, or 2 currently.
You gotta back out there, or you're gonna stay?
Let's see. I moved
1.
1.
Yes.
Alright, I'll go 2, 3.
I want to go diagonal. Get right up to the door.
Who's only standing there with him?
So?
I don't want to.
Okay.
Why you open my business?
Okay, so that's the end of the round. Now we move into the post-round stuff. First thing is the Imperial player will adjust his threat level. On the back of the guide, it'll tell you, depending on which campaign tier you're on, how many threat points you'll get. In this case, it's 2. Okay, so I'll move the threat level up 2, which gives me a grand total of 2. I could deploy or redeploy at this point, meaning I could spend these threat points to deploy a whole group if I had enough points to do that, which is this first number on the card, or redeploy, meaning Jem killed a stormtrooper, I could put them back out for the second number, which is 2. Alright, I think I'm going to wait on that for a little bit, so I'm going to pass on that. Now we'll refresh everything, meaning any cards that were exhausted and all of her tokens will be refreshed. Okay, and if there were any end of round effects, we would do that now. There's not yet. There is some in this mission. And the final part of the post round is to move the round dial up to the next round. Okay, folks, so I'm going to stop this part of the video here. So please come back and join us. Get gaming, have fun. Thanks for watching. What are we playing today, Jennifer?
This is Darth Vader. Dong, dong, dong. No?
No.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah. I got Darth Vader.
Okay, see, you don't put his paws.
Darth Vader. Okay, Darth Vader doesn't go raw, but, you know.
Are you ready?